Okay, let's look at linear equations, but this time we're going to expand it a little bit more into the whole kit and caboodle. So a linear equation is on a graph, it's a line, it's a straight line. And the most convenient way for us to represent the equation for this straight line is something called slope-intercept format. Now, slope-intercept format, you might have heard it before. Y equals mx plus b is really nice because you can graph a whole equation, or you can know what the whole equation looks like without ever actually plotting a point or having to plug things in. So, a couple of things. This m right here, that's going to be the slope of the line. And then this b right here, that's going to be your y-intercept. So you have a slope and a y-intercept. So with this, you um, you have one point automatically, and that's the y-intercept. And then you can easily count over to the left or to the right uh, for the slope to find a second point. So this is actually not the standard form of the equation. Let's see. So because it's not the standard form, sometimes you have to convert it into y equals mx plus b format. So let's say this. How about if we find the slope and y-intercept of negative 4x plus 2y equals 8. Now this is known as standard form, where you have an x plus a y equals some number. Even though it's standard doesn't necessarily mean it's the best. So what you're going to do here is fairly simple. You're going to solve for y. And if it's a linear equation, which is most of these are, or all of them are up until from here for a while, it's going to work out so that it'll form into the point slope form. So to solve for y, we're looking to isolate that variable, meaning get y on one side and everything else on the other side. So, well, let's get rid of that 4x. So, boy, I don't want to do it in red though. So, negative 4x, well, I'm going to add 4x to this side. If I add it to this side, got to add it to this side. Just to review, that equal sign is like a scale. Whatever you add to one side, you have to add to the other. So negative 4x plus 4x, that equals 0. So I've got 2y equals 4x plus 8. Okay, I'm getting close. Getting real close. So I want to isolate that y right there. So that means I've got to get rid of the 2 that's in front of it. To get rid of the 2, I do the opposite of multiplying y by 2, and that's dividing y by 2. But if I do it to one side, I've got to do it to the other side as well. Over here, the 2's cancel out, which leaves me with y. Now over here on the right-hand side, I've got 4x plus 8. I can separate this out. 4x over 2 plus 8 over 2. That's just because the denominator, the shared denominator, can get split apart. Now I just reduce. 4 divided by 2 is 2. 8 divided by 2 is 4. Now it's looking good. Now I'm in point slope form, and I can easily figure out the slope and the y-intercept. So the slope equals 2. Y-intercept equals 4. Let's go back so we can sort of review. All we did is we took our equation up here and we isolated the y variable. So a little bit of algebra, and there we go. Okay, now a little bit more typical, I guess. Sometimes you are just given 2 points, and from those 2 points, we have to figure out the equation. So, let's see. So find the slope and y-intercept. That passes through these points. 1, 4, and 5, 2. All right, so this one, we're given the least amount of information. At least up here we had an equation to deal with. Now we just have 2 points. But that's okay, we can handle this. So the first step, you're going to want to find the slope. So y, whoops, not y. So m equals y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. Well, let's write our 2 points one on top of the other. 1, 4, and 5, 2. And remember, this is my x column and my y column. This is my 1 row and my 2 row. So y2 is 2, y1 is 4, x2 is 5, and x1 is 1. So 2 minus 4 is negative 2. 5 minus 1 is 4. So the slope is negative 1/2. So now that I know the slope, step 2, plug this into y equals mx plus b and solve for b using a known point. Okay, so we get to pick our points. So let's see, what do we know so far? We know y equals negative 1/2 x plus b, and I have 2 points to choose from, 1, 4 or 5, 2. How about I use 1, 4 just just because it's got a 1 in it, so maybe the math will make it nice and easy. So 1, 4 is the point that I'm going to plug into there. So 1 is my x and 4 is my y. So anytime I see a y, instead of writing y, I'm going to write 4. 4 equals negative 1/2. Now I see an x, but my x is going to be 1. So I could rewrite this as 4 equals negative 1/2 plus b, because negative 1/2 times 1, that's just negative 1/2. Okay, almost there. Now I'm solving for b, so I want to get everything else on the other side. Well, let's get rid of this 1/2. The opposite of subtracting 1/2 is adding 1/2. The reason I want to do the opposites is that's going to cancel out to 0, which leaves me with 4 1/2 equals b. All right, and then with this, I can answer my question. So my solution is this: the slope equals negative 1/2, and the y-intercept equals 4 1/2. Those ones take a little bit of time, but just work through. Remember what you have, what data you have, and how you can use that. First, you find the slope. Then second, you solve for b.